7 months ago, my sister threw a champagne glass at a fountain and screamed that I was lying in front of 80 people at our parents' anniversary party. Her crime? I'd just announced my tech company was worth $38 million. The same sister who got a BMW at 16 while I scraped grease at a diner. The golden child who got private school while I took the bus. The one my parents gave everything to while calling me the plain one. 3 weeks later, I discovered she'd forged my signature, created a fake company using my name, and was trying to scam investors out of $12 million. My own mother was helping her do it. Federal investigators got involved. Securities fraud charges. My sister lost absolutely everything while I walked away with my empire intact and zero guilt. If you've ever been the invisible child, you need to hear how this ends. Subscribe. The fraud gets worse. Let me take you back to where this all started. While Veronica got a brand new BMW 3 Series at 16, metallic white, leather interior, the whole works, I got a bus pass and a lecture about responsibility. Dad handed her the keys at breakfast, saying nothing. Mom took photos for Instagram. I watched from the kitchen doorway holding my backpack, already running late for my shift at the diner. But here's what they didn't know. While they were busy worshiping Veronica, I was building something in secret. Something they'd never see coming. At the Phoenician resort, when Uncle Frank announced my company's valuation to a room full of guests, Veronica's face went from pale to bright red in seconds. She threw that champagne glass so hard it shattered across the marble floor. Guests backed away. Mom tried grabbing her arm. "You're lying!" Veronica screamed. "There's no way you have that kind of money." Dad's voice came out cold. "Beatrice, I think you should leave." I stared at him. I should leave? I didn't do anything wrong. You're upsetting your sister. What she did next? Forged my signature, created a fake company called Apex Data Solutions, and dragged my mother into a federal crime. By the end, she faced fraud charges, a federal investigation, and lost everything. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The fraud I'm about to expose involves my own mother. How does a golden child become a federal criminal? Let me show you where it all started. Phoenix summers are brutal, but nothing compared to growing up in my house. I was 14 the first time I realized I didn't matter. Made honor roll every semester that year. Straight A's. My mom, Patricia, glanced at my report card for maybe 5 seconds before turning back to Veronica's crayon drawings. She spent 20 minutes gushing over them like Veronica had created the Mona Lisa. "Look at this talent, Gregory," she'd say to my dad, holding up stick figures. He'd nod along, smiling. Never once looked at what I'd achieved. Veronica was 3 years younger, but you'd think she was royalty the way they treated her. That BMW Dad bought her? $65,000. I know because I heard him on the phone with the dealership, laughing about only the best for my girl. I was standing right there in the kitchen. He looked through me like I was glass. When Veronica turned 16, she posted 17 Instagram photos with those car keys. Mom commented on every single one with heart emojis. When I turned 16, I got a lecture about public transportation building character. The college situation was worse. Scottsdale Academy cost $45,000 a year. Mom signed the check without blinking. When I asked for help with community college, just help, not even full coverage, Mom sighed like I'd asked her to donate a kidney. "We've already stretched ourselves thin for your sister's education," she said, not looking up from her phone. "You're resourceful. You'll figure it out." So I figured it out. Rosie's Diner became my second home. Got there at 5 a.m. most mornings, left around midnight on weekends. The smell of bacon grease soaked into my hair, my clothes, my car seats. Didn't matter how many times I washed, I always smelled like fried food. One day in chemistry class, Professor Reynolds stopped mid-lecture, looked directly at me, and asked, "Do you work in food service?" The whole class turned to stare. Someone in the back laughed. My face burned. I nodded. Thought so, he said, then kept teaching. I sat there, clenching my textbook so hard my knuckles went white. Walked to my car after class trying not to cry, trying to convince myself it would be worth it someday. At family dinners, the favoritism got even worse. Have you ever worked yourself to exhaustion while a sibling got everything handed to them? Drop a comment if this hits home. What I didn't tell them, what I kept completely secret, was that I was building something they'd never see coming. That diner job? It taught me everything I needed to build an empire. But first, I had to survive their golden child show. At family dinners, Veronica held court like it was her personal stage. Every holiday, every birthday, every random Sunday gathering. The table would be packed with relatives, and Veronica would sit at the head, talking about yacht parties with her boyfriend's family who owned half of Scottsdale. Mom and Dad would hang on every word, eyes sparkling like she was telling them the secrets of the universe. I'd sit at the end of the table, quietly picking at my food. Once, I tried mentioning my computer science project. I'd built this data analytics tool from scratch, and my professor wanted to showcase it at a tech conference. I was excited. Thought maybe, just maybe, they'd care. I got 3 words in before Dad cut me off. Beatrice, can you grab more wine from the kitchen? Veronica's telling us about her promotion. She wasn't promoted. She'd been at that marketing firm for 6 months. My cousin Natalie leaned over, whispering just loud enough for me to hear. At least Veronica's going places. Mom beamed. I clenched my fork so hard my knuckles went white. The financial inequality was staggering. Veronica's study abroad year in Barcelona, fully funded. Mom and Dad even visited her twice, posting photos all over Facebook. Her luxury apartment in a Scottsdale high-rise? First and last month's rent covered, plus help whenever she came up short. Her entrepreneurial venture selling rebranded essential oils on Instagram? Dad wrote her a check for $30,000 without blinking. When I asked to borrow $2,000 for a certification course that could actually boost my career, Mom looked at me like I'd asked for a kidney. Beatrice, we can't keep bailing you out. You're 25. Act like it. I wasn't asking to be bailed out. I was asking for a fraction of what they gave Veronica without her even asking. That night, I stopped asking for anything. Started my data security company from a cramped studio apartment in Tempe. Just me and a laptop. Kept it completely quiet. They'd never asked about my life anyway. Too busy funding Veronica's next adventure. Landed my first major contract with Banner Health, then a financial services firm. Within 3 years, I'd scaled to 45 employees. By year 5, my company was worth $38 million. I should have been celebrating. Instead, I was dreading the moment they found out. Some people say I should have told them about my success from the start. But here's why I kept quiet, and why I'd do it again. I knew them. I knew exactly what would happen. I should have known the moment they found out would be catastrophic. The anniversary party changed everything forever. The text came the day before the party. No greeting, just, "Party tomorrow, be there by 6. Don't embarrass us." The Phoenician Resort in Scottsdale. 80 guests, their 35th anniversary, and they wanted to show off. I walked in wearing a simple black dress, nothing flashy. Veronica was draped in designer everything, holding court by the champagne fountain with Mom and Dad's wealthiest friends. She spotted me, rolled her eyes, and turned back to her audience. The evening dragged. I made small talk with distant relatives, avoided the spotlight, stayed near the back. Then Uncle Frank approached me. Dad's business partner. Always kind. One of the few who actually remembered I existed. Beatrice, I heard about your company's latest contract. $38 million valuation? That's incredible. My stomach dropped. The room wasn't loud, but his voice carried. Heads turned. Mom appeared out of nowhere, her smile frozen. What did you say, Frank? Beatrice's company, the data security firm? I saw the article in Arizona Business Journal. Didn't you tell them, Beatrice? The air got thick. I could feel eyes on me. Family members, friends, strangers, all staring. Veronica's face went from pale to bright red in seconds. Mom's voice came out sharp, fake sweet. Beatrice, what is Frank talking about? I should have lied, should have downplayed it. But something inside me snapped. I was tired of being invisible, tired of shrinking myself to make them comfortable. I looked at Mom, then at Veronica's twisted expression, then at the growing crowd around us. I own a cybersecurity company. It's worth $38 million. The room went dead silent. I could hear the fountain trickling in the background, the clink of someone's glass hitting a table. Dad's face went blank. His fork stopped midair. Mom's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Natalie's eyes bulged. Then Veronica detonated. Liar! Her voice cracked through the silence like a gunshot. She stepped toward me, hands shaking, champagne sloshing out of her glass. You're lying. There's no way you have that kind of money. This is pathetic, Beatrice. Making up stories for attention at Mom and Dad's party? How desperate are you? Mom jumped in. Veronica's right. Beatrice, this is inappropriate. You've always been jealous of your sister, but lying about— I'm not lying, I said, my voice steady. Frank read about it because it's public record. My company just closed a $14 million contract with Banner Health. It's real. Veronica grabbed her phone, started frantically typing, Googling my company name. I watched her face change as she found the articles, the press releases. My LinkedIn profile with founder and CEO, right there. Reality hit her. This was real. I had more than her. She threw the champagne glass at the fountain. Crystal exploded. Fragments sprayed across the marble floor. Guests gasped. Some backed away. Mom tried to grab Veronica's arm, but she yanked free. This can't be real. Veronica was shaking, tears streaming down her face. Not sad tears. Rage tears. She doesn't get to have more than me. I'm the successful one. I'm the one who matters. Dad finally spoke. His voice came out low and cold. Beatrice, I think you should leave. I stared at him. I should leave? I didn't do anything wrong. You're upsetting your sister. This is neither the time nor place. Mom added, voice trembling. How could you do this to Veronica? Today of all days? I almost laughed. Do what, exactly? Exist? Succeed? I'm sorry my company's success is inconvenient for you. I walked out. Behind me, I could hear Veronica sobbing, Mom consoling her, guests whispering. My phone buzzed before I even reached my car. Social media unfollows starting. Veronica's boyfriend's cousin, Natalie's husband, 3 more relatives. Subscribe if you want to see entitled people get exactly what they deserve. This story gets crazier. I walked out. But the real nightmare was just beginning. That voicemail from Mom the next morning made my blood run cold. The next morning, my phone exploded. 27 missed calls from Mom before 8 a.m. 15 texts from Veronica, each one more unhinged than the last. You've always been jealous of me. Everyone knows you're lying about that company. Dad's going to prove you're a fraud. You ruined everything. How dare you embarrass me like that? This isn't over. Then came the voicemail from Mom that made my blood run cold. Her voice was shrill, demanding. No greeting, just, Beatrice, call me immediately. Your sister is devastated. You owe her an apology and you need to help her. She has business ideas that need funding. It's time you supported this family. Not one word of congratulations. Not, we're proud of you. Nothing. Just immediate demands. Like I existed only to fund Veronica. I called my best friend Simone. Sharp, no-nonsense corporate lawyer I'd met at a tech conference 5 years ago. She picked up on the first ring. "They're going to come after you," she said the second I told her what happened. "Document everything, every text, every call, every demand. Screenshot it all. You think they'll—" This sounds like the beginning of financial abuse. I've seen it before. 3 days later, Dad called. His tone was softer than Mom's. More manipulative. "Beatrice, honey, let's put this behind us. Family is everything. Veronica's looking at some investment opportunities, real estate ventures, very promising. She could use a partner with capital." "Dad, I'm not investing in Veronica's schemes." His voice hardened immediately. "Schemes? That's how you talk about your sister's ambitions? After everything we've given you?" "You haven't given me anything." Silence. Then he hung up. Mom called that evening. Different tactic. Emotional manipulation. "Do you know how hard it's been for Veronica, living in your shadow now? The least you can do is help her launch something of her own." Living in my shadow? The irony was suffocating. I refused again. Firmly. Clearly. That's when the public shaming started. Natalie posted on Facebook tagging me and 15 other relatives. Some people forget where they came from. Money can't buy class or loyalty. Yasta family first? Ach, disappointed. The comments piled on. Cousins, aunts, uncles I barely knew. "She's changed. Too good for family now." Success went to her head. Forgot who helped her get there. That one was rich, considering they never helped me at all. It was coordinated. They'd clearly discussed it among themselves. Was I wrong to refuse? After all, she's my sister. Let me know in the comments. Am I the problem here? Have you ever been guilt-tripped for setting boundaries? Tell me your story. But I didn't know they were planning something far worse than guilt trips. The email I got 3 weeks later made me physically sick. 3 weeks after the party, life was starting to feel normal again. The pressure campaign continued, but I held my boundaries. Ignored the calls, deleted the texts. Then an email landed in my inbox. From Sterling Brooks, subject: Partnership Inquiry, Apex Data Solutions. I frowned. I'd never heard of Apex Data Solutions. The email was professional, polite, well-written, asking about my company's interest in partnering with a new cybersecurity startup. There was an attached prospectus. I opened it, curious. Maybe a legitimate opportunity. Page 3 stopped my heart. My name was listed as founding partner and primary investor. Commitment amount, $12 million capital commitment. My hands went numb. The room tilted. I'd never heard of this company, never signed anything, never committed a single dollar. I called Simone immediately. "Someone's using my name for a fake company." She was at my office within an hour, laptop open, already pulling corporate filings. Apex Data Solutions was registered 2 weeks ago with the Arizona Corporation Commission. She looked up at me, her expression grim. "Filed by Veronica Harris, your sister." My sister had created a fake company and put my name on it. Simone kept digging. Marketing materials, a slick website, investor pitch decks, all featuring my photo, my credentials, my company's success story. They'd positioned me as the silent partner providing capital and credibility to Veronica's revolutionary data security platform. It was all lies. Veronica didn't know the first thing about data security. The platform was vaporware, stolen screenshots from legitimate software companies cobbled together in PowerPoint. "This is securities fraud," Simone said flatly. "She's using your reputation to solicit investments under false pretenses." I felt sick. My own sister. Scamming people. Using my name. Simone found emails between Veronica and Sterling Brooks. Veronica explicitly stated I'd verbally committed $12 million. Said I'd be formalizing the investment shortly. She'd forged preliminary agreements with a signature close enough to mine that investors didn't question it. Sterling was about to give her $300,000 based on these lies. Then Simone found something worse. A text chain between Veronica and Mom, forwarded by someone at the investor firm who'd gotten suspicious. Mom: did she agree to invest yet? Veronica: no, but she doesn't need to know. Her name is enough. Mom: what if she finds out? Veronica: by then we'll have the money, she'll get over it. I stared at the screen, chest tight, couldn't breathe. My own mother. Not just enabling, actively participating, conspiring to steal from me. What about Dad? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Simone scrolled further, stopped. Oh no. An email from Dad to Veronica, time-stamped 10 days after the anniversary party. Dad: this doesn't feel right. You need to tell Beatrice. Veronica's response: she'll never know. Stay out of it, Dad. This is my chance. He knew. He saw what they were doing. And he did nothing. I sat in my office late that night, Simone beside me, staring at the evidences. Fake contracts, forged signatures, fabricated financials, lies stacked on lies. What do you want to do? Simone asked. I thought about every dismissal, every comparison, every moment I was told I didn't matter. They tried to steal my success, my reputation, my life's work. I want to end this. If you're invested in this story, subscribe now. The confrontation is coming and you won't believe what happens. What would you do if your family did this? Prosecute them or let it go? The family meeting I called the next day would change everything forever. I called Mom the next day, requested an urgent family meeting at their house. She agreed immediately. I could hear the smugness in her voice. I'm glad you're finally being reasonable, Beatrice. She thought I'd caved. Thought I was coming to fund Veronica. When I arrived, they were positioned like they'd rehearsed it. Veronica lounged on the couch, smirking. Mom sat in the armchair looking satisfied. Dad stood by the window, avoiding eye contact like always. The atmosphere was tense, expectant. They were waiting for my surrender. I set a thick manila folder on the coffee table. Heavy thud. We need to talk about Apex Data Solutions. Veronica's smirk faltered. Just slightly. What about it? I opened the folder, pulled out the first document, corporate filing with my name listed without authorization, slid it across the table. You used my name to register a company without my permission. That's identity theft. I was trying to help you be part of... I cut her off. Laid out the fake contracts. One by one. Methodical. You forged my signature on investment commitments. You told investors I'd committed $12 million. You created marketing materials using my photo, my company's success, my credentials. All without asking. Mom jumped in, voice sharp. Beatrice, you're blowing this out of proportion. She was just trying to get her business started. You should be supporting her, not attacking. I cut her off. Pulled out the printed text messages, laid them on the table. You knew. You helped her. I read aloud. Here's you, asking if I'd agreed to invest yet. Here's you telling her I'd get over it once the money came in. Mom's face drained of color. Veronica stood up, hands shaking. You went through my private messages? An investor forwarded them when they got suspicious. Sterling Brooks almost gave you $300,000 based on lies you told about me. That's called fraud, Veronica. Securities fraud. Dad finally spoke, voice weak. Maybe we can work this out privately. Family doesn't need lawyers. I turned on him. All the years of disappointment, silence, betrayal came pouring out. Family doesn't commit felonies against each other. You saw what they were doing. You told Veronica it wasn't right, but you did nothing to stop it. That makes you complicit. I listed every betrayal. BMW for Veronica, bus pass for me, funded her every whim, told me to pull myself up, saw the fraud happening, sent one email, did nothing else. Dad's face crumpled. He looked old, small. He looked away, still silent, always silent. Veronica's voice rose, frantic. You're really going to destroy your own sister over this? Over some business thing? Some business thing? You committed securities fraud using my identity. You could have cost me everything I've built. You tried to scam people for $300,000 using my name. I called Simone in from the car. She walked in carrying another folder. Legal documents. These are cease and desist letters being delivered to every investor you pitched. Sterling Brooks is pulling out. So is everyone else. Your fake company is done. Veronica's eyes went wild. You can't. I already did. And if you ever use my name, my company, or my likeness again, Simone will file criminal charges. Arizona doesn't play around with securities fraud. Mom stood, voice shaking with rage. How dare you threaten your own sister after everything we've done for you? I laughed, bitter, sharp, genuine. Everything you've done for me? Name one thing. One single thing you've given me that you didn't give Veronica 10 times over. Silence. Complete. Damning. I gathered my folders, looked at each of them one last time. I'm done. Don't call me. Don't text me. We're not family anymore. Veronica lunged toward me. Simone stepped between us. Touch her and I'll have you arrested for assault. I walked out for the last time. Behind me, Veronica sobbed. Mom screamed about betrayal. Dad made useless attempts to calm them. In the car, my hands trembled on the steering wheel. Simone slid into the passenger seat. You okay? No, but I will be. The consequences are about to hit hard. Subscribe before you see how this ends. For those who've had to cut off family, was it worth it? Tell me in the comments below. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Sterling Brooks didn't just pull out, he reported Veronica to the Arizona Corporation Commission and the SEC. An investigation opened within days. Federal crime confirmed. Using someone else's identity and financial credentials to solicit investments is a federal offense. Who knew? Everyone, except apparently Veronica. The press picked it up fast. Apex Data startup founder under investigation for securities fraud ran an Arizona Business Weekly. Veronica's name was plastered everywhere, public record. Her LinkedIn profile disappeared overnight. Instagram went private, then deleted entirely. Every Google search about her led straight to the fraud investigation. Mom called 17 times the first day. I didn't answer. Not one call. Her voicemails got more desperate. Beatrice, please. They're talking about pressing charges. You have to tell them it was a misunderstanding. Please. She's your sister. She's my sister. That phrase used to mean something. Now it just made me tired. Veronica sent her boyfriend Kent to my office. Security stopped him in the lobby. He tried pleading her case through my assistant. She made a mistake. She's sorry. Can't you just let this go? I sent word back. Tell him she should have thought about consequences before committing fraud. Dad showed up unannounced at my building. I agreed to meet him in the lobby. Stood the whole time so he knew I wasn't staying. Your mother's a mess. Veronica's facing serious legal trouble. Can't we find some middle ground here? Middle ground? Dad, she stole my identity to scam investors. Where's the middle ground in felony fraud? He flinched. She's still your sister. And you're still the father who never stood up for me. Not once. BMW versus bus pass. Funding Veronica while I starved. Seeing the fraud and doing nothing. Neutrality isn't neutral when there's abuse happening. You chose her. Every single time, you chose her. And when she committed a crime against me, you still chose her. His face crumpled. First time I'd seen him look old, small, broken. I should have I thought if I stayed neutral. I walked away. He didn't follow. Within 2 months, the Arizona Corporation Commission shut down Apex Data Solutions completely. Veronica was barred from serving as an officer or director of any Arizona corporation for 5 years. Public record, searchable, permanent. The SEC investigation continued. Criminal charges still on the table. Federal implications. Could mean prison time. Dad cut Veronica off financially. Couldn't sustain supporting her during a federal investigation. Her apartment, the one Dad had been paying rent on, got foreclosed. Turns out, facing potential federal charges for your daughter's fraud drains retirement savings fast. Veronica moved back home at 29 years old, back to her childhood bedroom, unemployable, under investigation, completely broke. Kent left her. Shocker. The family split. Half blamed me for destroying Veronica's life over a misunderstanding. Natalie posted a long, dramatic Facebook rant about how money changes people, and blood is thicker than water. I blocked them all. Every single one. A few cousins quietly reached out. We didn't know how bad it was. Dad's brother contacted me. We're sorry we didn't see it. Too little, way too late. But at least they acknowledged reality. Then something unexpected happened. Sterling Brooks reached out, not to yell, to offer a partnership. He'd researched my actual company during the investigation and was impressed. Respected that I'd stood up to family fraud instead of covering it up. We signed a $6 million contract within 3 months. My company grew. New clients, new contracts, expanded operations, opened a second office in Denver, hired 30 new employees. The fraud scandal, ironically, raised my profile in the tech industry. People admired the ethical leadership. Forbes published a feature, How One CEO Chose Integrity Over Family and Built an Empire. Veronica saw it. Simone's assistant caught her creating fake social media accounts to stalk my company pages. Pathetic doesn't even begin to cover it. 6 months after everything, Mom sent one final email. Subject line blank. Message, I hope you're proud of yourself. You destroyed this family. I didn't respond. But I thought about it. She was right. I did destroy the family. The toxic, abusive, exploitative version that had beaten me down for 3 decades. And I wasn't sorry. For those dealing with toxic family, how did you set boundaries? I'm still learning. Share your stories below. Some say I went too far. But she committed a felony against me. Was I wrong? Guilty or not guilty? But the real victory wasn't legal or professional. It was personal. Today, I'm standing in my penthouse in downtown Phoenix, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. The space is mine, bought with money I earned, filled with furniture I chose, decorated with art that actually means something to me. No family photos on the walls. That's deliberate. Instead, there are my degrees. Framed magazine features from Forbes and Arizona Business Journal. Photos with my chosen family. Simone, my team. Mentors who saw me before I had millions and stayed because they actually liked who I was. My company's now valued at $52 million, up from $38 million 7 months ago. We landed 2 more major contracts this quarter. I'm hiring a VP of operations next month. Business is better than I ever imagined, and it has nothing to do with my last name or who my parents favored. Veronica eventually took a plea deal. Probation, restitution payments, community service. No jail time, but a permanent record that follows her everywhere. Background checks, job applications, forever. Dad tried reaching out last month on my birthday, through a work contact since I'd blocked all his numbers. Said he missed me, wanted to talk, hoped to rebuild. I deleted it immediately. Some bridges aren't worth reconstructing. Mom's still telling anyone who'll listen that I'm the villain in this story, that I abandoned my family over nothing. Let her. People who know the truth know better. I blocked every number, every email, every social media account, zero contact, and I feel no guilt, not even a flicker. The decision is made, peace is achieved. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. My team at the office? They're my family now. Simone, who stood by me through everything. The mentors I found in the tech industry who actually invest in my growth. The life I've created where success isn't measured by someone else's approval. I host dinners now. Real dinners with people I choose. People who bring joy instead of judgment. Laughter that isn't laced with comparison. Conversations that don't require me to defend my existence. Standing here, looking out at Phoenix spreading below me like a circuit board of lights, I feel something I never felt growing up in that house. Peace. Not because I'm rich. The money is nice. Don't get me wrong. But it's what the money represents. Proof that I was never the problem. My work had value. My path was valid. Their dismissal said everything about them and nothing about me. I built this. Every dollar, every contract, every employee, every success. I built it while they looked the other way. And when they finally noticed, when they tried to take it, I protected it. That's not cruelty. That's self-respect. Was I too harsh cutting them off completely? Or did boundaries save my life? What would you have done? Exposed them at that party or kept it quiet forever? Please let me know in the comments. Here's what I learned from this whole nightmare. First lesson. Family isn't a free pass for abuse. Blood relation doesn't give anyone the right to exploit you, steal from you, or diminish you. The moment someone crosses that line, you have every right to protect yourself, legally, financially, emotionally. Family doesn't commit felonies against each other. You don't owe abusers access to your life just because you share DNA. Second lesson, self-built success is the only success that matters. Everything they gave Veronica, the cars, the education, the opportunities, none of it stuck because she never learned to work for anything. Everything I built through grinding and sacrifice, it's still here, still growing, still mine. Third lesson, walking away from toxicity isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself. For anyone watching who's still trapped in a family situation where you're the scapegoat, where your accomplishments are minimized, where your siblings get everything while you get lectures, you are not required to stay. You don't owe them access to your life, your success, or your peace. Fraud was just the final line in a very long story of disrespect, and I'm glad they crossed it, because it gave me permission to walk away without guilt. Looking back, there were 3 major red flags I missed. Red flag 1. They funded Veronica's every failure without hesitation but called my requests for help, being bailed out. When support is conditional based on who's asking, it's not generosity, it's control. Red flag 2. They ignored my work at family dinners, interrupted me mid-sentence, never asked about my life. Then the moment I succeeded, they immediately demanded I fund theirs. You only matter when you're useful. Red flag 3. When I refused to fund fraud, they said I was tearing this family apart. When I exposed the fraud, Mom said I destroyed the family. Abusers blame victims for consequences of their own actions. If setting boundaries equals destroying family, the family was already broken. More of this in my new ebook titled How to Heal After Being Betrayed. 7 Steps to Reclaim Your Power. Links in the description. I share these stories because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear they're not alone, they're not being dramatic, and it's okay to choose themselves over family harmony that only exists when you're silent. This isn't just about revenge. It's about validation, about recognizing toxic patterns, about giving yourself permission to walk away. This channel is for everyone who's been dismissed, overlooked, or betrayed by family. Your feelings are valid. You deserve better. It is possible to build a life without them. I'm living proof. If this story resonated with you, if you've experienced anything similar, subscribe to this channel, Revenge with Nick. I share these stories not for drama, but because someone out there needs to hear. You're not alone. You're not crazy. And you can get out. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you think Veronica got exactly what she deserved. And if you're not subscribing, tell me why in the comments. What's holding you back? I genuinely want to know. Remember, family is who chooses you, not who you're stuck with. Protecting what you built isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. To everyone watching who's still stuck in a toxic family situation, it gets better. You just have to choose yourself first. I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, set boundaries, and never apologize for success you earned.